day one. Whole family was motorsport enthusiasts. We were raised basically on the track and raised in the desert, raised in anything with motors in it. First time I saw drifting would be option videos, basically. Imported videos from Japan, and just seeing, you basically see street drifting, and that was what you would see all the time. You'd see, underpowered cars running super high speed as much as they can to hold angle through, having no horsepower, and they drove the fucking pants off of it. First time I saw an S13, I actually bought one with my stepbrother. I was like 10 years old, I think, and we went to buy one in PB, and he wanted to buy a reliable car to deliver pizzas with, and it just happened to be kind of a cool looking car compared to what else was out there, and he bought it for that reason. 5 years later, he had come into our stereo shop, and he had purchased a new vehicle. The 240 had sat for like the past 8 months on the side street, and basically the 240 kind of landed in our laps before we even knew what 240s really were. Chris had a coworker that was really into Japanese culture, so we'd bring over DVDs, videos, VHSs, magazines especially. And magazines were a trip because you'd open the magazine and it'd be backwards, so you don't know how the fuck to even read the damn thing. But you open it up, and I just remember first page you flip it to, all black, S13. It was a crazy coincidence because, the 240 we just basically got for free was all black, so we're like, oh fuck. So we looked at that, we're like, shit, we need to get these parts, we want our car to look like that. My name is Shaun. I drive the Deep's Garage 1991 Nissan 240Sx. Details for the motor setup is actually pretty basic. Once again, kind of something that basically kind of landed in our, I wouldn't say it's basic. As far as KAs go, it's not basic. It's probably one of the most built KAs that is solidly, competed and built upon and developed. But compared to some of the other builds that are out in the drift scene, it's not a very exotic build. We basically had a friend of ours who built an S14 for drag racing, and he basically made this S14, pretty much got it up to about the 700 to 800 horsepower range, which was out of a KA was unheard of, and it's still to this day it's still kind of unheard of. What happened was he traded the car, he sold the car. We came up on the motor as a good deal between us and him, and basically what it is the motor itself is a stock dual cam S13 block, and it has 791 compression, Aries pistons, H-beam rods, stock bottom end, stock crank, just a refresh on everything on the bottom end. It's got stock head with Brian Crowder 264 cams, GT30R, with a custom built manifold by my brother Chris at Deep's Garage. We're running stock intake manifold. Mainly the motor itself for us was to keep the budget down, but to put down good usable power. And we're able to put over 500 foot-pounds of torque at a very low RPM. So for drifting, it's pretty ideal at this point. I started drifting, I would say, in about 2009. 2009 to actually go out to a track and officially try to do it, past beyond that. We were doing street driving. Once we had, the 240 running with the basic swap, it was pretty potent as far as, street drifting goes. It was more than what we knew what to actually do with, so we could actually have some really good time on the street. And that's where we could really kind of established ourselves. We did a lot of street drifting, and we did that. That started probably back in like 07, 08. And then 2009, I personally finally decided to hit the track on my own. I went to U-Haul, borrowed my dad's truck, rented a trailer, trucked my ass out here by myself, and brought it out to the track because I knew that I knew that the street was fun, but you could never really unleash the car past its actual limit. Deep's Garage came from tuning our cars. It was us tweaking in our garage. We couldn't afford to pay somebody to do our work. We couldn't afford to go somewhere and sign a check and say, I want this done, because we didn't really have any money. Me and Chris were both on our own, pretty much, from 17 up. We pretty much made our own ends and made our own shit, so driving and cars in general was a luxury. So at that point, we had to basically, to be able to expand and build our cars, we had to pretty much figure out how to do it on our own. So we started doing our own work. We started building our own cars. People saw what we were doing. People saw that we put the legwork in to figure out, the little issues and how to make it work on small budgets. And from there, we pretty much just started doing little projects here and there. A lot of it came from us selling our own motor swaps. But what we would do is we'd basically put a swap in, we'd drive it for a little bit, we'd go show it to a bunch of people, find some people that were interested in it, we'd sell the swap to them. And then we'd basically take that money, buy another swap for our car, make the bigger and better swap, and then from there we'd basically sell that a swap again. And then it just been a case, kind of basically just rolled into us being a shop. You have to really put in a lot to get a little out, but when you get that little bit out, for me personally, I've done a lot of different motorsports. I've done a lot of different disciplines of driving. I've done, I've tried to do a lot of different things. Drifting is the only thing I've actually put 100%, 150% towards all the time. And the reason I do that was just the first time that I came out, and once you're able to go through, drive your car, link certain corners together, link your figure eights together, it just brings a big fat fucking smile to your face the whole time. Drifting, you have to obliterate the limit and basically bring yourself back to find that fine line to make it look awesome and make it look cool. Because the limit would be you're above and beyond it, it means you're spinning out. It doesn't look cool. It's less than my spinning out. But being able to find that fine line and being able to push those extremes, that's what makes it a blast. For anybody that's trying to get into it for something that's new, I would say that it's not for the weak of heart. I would say that you have to have a really strong kind of gumption, if you will, to make it happen. But if you put forth, the effort to do it, and you fucking keep striving to make it happen, it's when it does and everything clicks and everything works, it's fucking magic.
And that's pretty much what the car, it's a nostalgic feeling. I drive the car in memory of my son. He's my co-pilot, as a dad. I kind of just, my son's with me every minute of the way as I build these cars and drive these cars, and every time I get compliments on these cars, I tell people, they're not my cars, they're my son's cars. Eventually, as he got older, they would be his cars, from my Corolla 86 to this Nissan to any future projects.